Welcome to today's video. Today we'll be discussing on the management of fibroids. The last time we were here, we discussed about fibroids. Now we have submucosal fibroids, which are inside here, and we have intramural fibroids, which are in the muscular wall. We talked about subserosal fibroids or pedunculated fibroids, and I forgot to mention then that there are also cervical fibroids. So what are the risk factors of fibroids? One being of the African or Black community, having an early debut of your menarche, which means that you got your periods a long time ago, maybe when you're 8, 9, or even 12, and then getting your menopause later on in life can also predispose you to fibroids. The others are just high estrogenic environments. For example, if you've been put on tamoxifen for any reasons, that could also give you a predilection to fibroids. Smoking can also give you fibroids. But other than that, we don't have any specific reason why you in particular could be having fibroids. One thing that we know is that pregnancy is protective. So being in progesterone states keeps you very safe from fibroids. So very many pregnancies, which is what our mothers had, so therefore they did not have so many instances of fibroids. And then of course, if you are pregnant or if you're using progesterone based methods, then you're more protected from fibroids. So how do we manage them? We have medical management, we have surgical management, and we have ultrasonic management, which is very, very new in the country, by the way. So for medical management, we have drugs that can suppress the fibroids. This means they shrink the fibroid. The downside is the drugs we use are drugs that also stimulate a pseudomenopause. So we can't use them for more than 6 months because they can cause osteoporosis of the bones. The other reason is that they give you hot flashes, literally all the symptoms of menopause. So we tend to avoid them. And after 2 to 3 years of shrinking the fibroid can grow back. So we only use them if we know that we want to shrink this fibroid and then do a myomectomy or debulk it slightly so that we can go into theater. Or if you're close to menopause, so that we know your body will kick in with the natural menopause and then we don't need to do anything for you. The second thing we can do is surgery. We have 3 types of surgery. If it's submucosal, we can go with a camera below, like over here, and shave off the myoma with the fibroid and remove it from down here. Or we can come in laparoscopically with cameras and actually cut, so access the abdomen through the cameras and cut and remove the fibroids. Or we can do a cut down here, which is called an open myomectomy, and remove as many fibroids as we can. So the essence is that we try to make as minimal cuts as we can and remove as many fibroids as we can. However, we know that it's not possible to remove all of them for the very reason that we don't want to slice your uterus like a bread, because then we'll leave a very weak uterus to carry a pregnancy. So even when we do myomectomies, we try to do as many as possible, but we do warn you that they can recur in about 5 to 10 years. And that's because some of those seedlings are too small for us to see at the time of surgery. And then after that, they grow and cause other fibroids. Hopefully not in the submucosal area so that it doesn't give you issues afterwards. So we remove these fibroids, you get pregnant within that 5 to 10 years, and then you're good to go. All right, that's surgical methods. The other method is actually we have thermal ablation, where we come and block off the uterine arteries which feed the uterus, and then that shrinks the fibroid. However, at some point the body is going to give redirected blood to the same uterus and they can regrow. And if you're planning fertility, one of the vessels from the uterus feeds the ovaries, and therefore it can make this ovary reduce its potency of carrying many eggs, and therefore that reduces your fertility. So if you're one of those ones who are still keen on pregnancy, we do not always recommend ablation unless you've discussed with your gynecologist. The last one is HIFU, which is using ultrasound, and they use high ultrasonic waves to burn the fibroid, and then that also shrinks it and reduces it altogether. So that's a method we can use for adenomyosis and myomectomies, for myomas or fibroids, if you're not very willing to go under the cut or through surgery. So I think that's what we can do for management. For diet, a low estrogenic diet is really good for fibroids, so avoiding things that are high in estrogen such as yams and such things could also help. I hope this helps someone, and see you next time. Bye.